And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand. Guys, today we do have Keir Starmer getting caught out by an interviewer lying. Of course, we did see the spring budget come out last week, and the whole lie that we were told is that Britons were going to be £500 better off. However, that has since been debunked, and actually we're not going to be better off, or certainly in the immediate future, we're not going to be better off. Keir Starmer today was interviewed by Sky News, and was asked about, of course, this statement that they stated that we were going to be better off financially going forward, but the interviewer catches him out and caught him lying. So we'll go into that and react to that. Also, there's the situation with regards to the tariffs ongoing at this moment in time, and we'll look at Keir Starmer's response to the latest with regard to Donald Trump. So yeah, as always, an action-packed video, but guys, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get involved in the comment section below. And yeah, here's Keir Starmer getting caught out lying by an interviewer.
I think for most people, they would say the cost of living crisis is ongoing and they feel the pressure financially. That's why it's so important that we make good on our pledge that people would feel better off. And the national living wage going up today by an average of £1,400 is going to affect millions of people. So in their pay packet this month, and obviously for months to come, they will now be getting more money in. That's alongside the other work we've done. Interest rates have been cut 3 times since we've had a Labour government. So anybody with a mortgage knows that the rates are coming down. And of course, on average, wages are going up now more quickly than prices. So I'm not denying there are
you
bills.
Acknowledge people are going to be feeling
I
it
acknowledge
still.
that with bills coming in, people see that rise, and that is a pressure. But that is why it's so important that we deliver on the national living wage to make sure people are better off. £1,400, quite a significant amount of money for millions of workers. Making sure that interest rates are coming down, not going up, that makes a big difference for people. Wages going up higher than prices. And of course, out of the spring statement last week, the forecast that on average, people will feel £500 better off per year. We're bearing down on this.
I've looked at that forecast, and the OBR, the Office of Budget Responsibility, actually says that people are going to feel worse off before they feel better off, and that all of that 500 quid at the end of the Parliament could wipe out anyway. You know that, right?
Well, Beth, look, £1,400 a year better off under the national living wage. That's real. That's coming into force today. I'm here at Nationwide. They get paid on April the 20th.
You acknowledge that
That's
things
real
could get
money
worse
in their
before
pocket.
they get better.
Well, wages are going up higher than prices. I'm not going to stand here and say people don't feel the impact of bills.
Yeah.
Of course they do. I understand that.
Okay.
The question is, are we making them feel better off? And that's why the national living wage today is so important. Welcome here by Nationwide employees and, of course, the customers that they serve.
So yes, we're talking about it, and we've heard it so many times, but it has been completely debunked. Now, at the same time that he was giving this interview, Mel Stride came out, of course, and spoke to media and stated, or gave his opinion on what this budget meant, and it actually means that the United Kingdom and people in Britain are going to end up a lot poorer. Have a listen to Mel Stride.
I think for most people, they would say...
Our economy is in a fragile position when it comes to weathering those headrooms, thanks to the crippling burdens imposed on businesses and households by this Labour government. Working families will pay the price for all of this. While the jobs tax eats away at their pay packets, Labour are also stoking inflation. Today's bills have risen for millions of families by more than £1,000. That, of course, affects pensioners too, who face rising energy bills while winter fuel payments have been snatched away. Another broken promise. The OBR now expect inflation this year to be more than double their estimate at the last Conservative budget in March of last year. And as both they and the Bank of England have said, government policies directly contributing to the rising cost of living, both via their reckless borrowing spree and via the costs imposed through their tax rises. And higher inflation also means higher interest rates hitting mortgage holders. Labour wants you to believe their tax rises are not hitting working people, that they are magically absorbed by businesses with no knock-on impacts on the people they employ or the things that they sell. The reality is families face a double hit from this Labour government, lower incomes thanks to the jobs tax and higher prices as well. We will all end up poorer thanks to their mismanagement and broken promises. We
So who am I going to believe? The OBR, then of course absolutely everybody in opposition and other political parties, and other people of course studying, or Keir Starmer, who's lied time and time again with regard to literally everything that comes out of his mouth. So we aren't going to be better off, and again, he got called out there. The OBR of course contradicted himself as well, and then Mel Stride there came out with a spiel as well. So yeah, I don't know where he looks at himself, says, you know, I'm going to say this because people are going to believe me. I don't know who's sitting around believing Keir. I really don't. How does he think that people believe him when he's broke every single manifesto pledge and everything that he said is always the opposite has arisen. Now, following this, of course, as well, in the midst of this, there is this sort of Trump tariff thing, where, of course, the UK is going to be hit. And we've heard, I reported to you earlier on today, that, of course, Keir Starmer tried to plea late last night, around 11 o'clock last night, on a phone call to try and sort a deal, or at least invite him to London and try and come up with a mini deal, so to speak, so that the UK don't get hit with these large tariffs. And however, Donald Trump didn't want to know anything with regard to Keir. Now, Keir is coming out stating, and Jonathan Reynolds is all coming out and stating that everything's under control. And this was Keir Starmer earlier on today during that same interview when he was asked about the tariffs and those impacts. So have a listen.
People are going to be worse off when Trump's tariffs come into effect, won't they? That's the truth, and that's what you're dealing with.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to see tariffs.
But you acknowledge we are going to get them.
Well, look, we're working hard on an economic deal, which we've made rapid progress on, and I hope we can make really speedy resolutions on. But look, the likelihood is there will be tariffs. Nobody welcomes that. We're obviously working with the sectors most impacted at pace on that. Nobody wants to see a trade war, but I have to act in the national interest. And that means that all options have to remain on the table.
No trade war, that sounds to me like you're saying you don't want to immediately introduce retaliatory tariffs. You're going to take your time.
Well, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I am talking to the sectors most impacted, and I think what they want most is a calm and collected response to this, not a knee-jerk response. We are, of course, negotiating an economic deal which will, I hope, deal and mitigate the tariffs. That's, I think, where most people would want this to land. Can't predict the future on that, but we're working hard on it. But I don't think a trade war is in our interest. But, of course, the national interest is what I am guided by, and therefore we must have all options on the table.
Just one more thing on Donald Trump. You have worked so hard with him. You have pulled your punches. You haven't criticised him publicly. He suggested prospects of no tariffs when we were at the White House, and now this. Do you feel played by him?
Look, the US is our closest ally. Our defence, our security, our intelligence are bound up in a way that no two other countries are. So it's obviously in our national interest to have a close working relationship with the US, which we've had for decades, and I want to ensure we have for decades to come. And I don't question that in any way. Obviously, we are discussing economic deals. We're well advanced on it. These would normally take months or years, and in a matter of weeks, we've got well advanced in those discussions. So I think that a calm approach, a collected approach, not a knee-jerk approach, is what's needed in the best interests of our country.
Well, sources suggest that that is not true at all either, to be fair, with regard to getting closer to securing the sort of tariff deal. Now, it does look like the UK is going to be hit with the massive tariffs as of tomorrow, of course, what Trump is calling a Liberation Day. So we'll have to see what happens, but everything is blowing up in the face of the Labour government. The lies with regard to the spring budget initially, but we could even feel even more economic pressures due to the sort of Trump tariffs as well. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed in today's video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.